it's Rabbit, and it seems as though a lot of you have really been curious about how my hair care routine differs in the wintertime versus spring, summer, and fall. So I'm gonna, I guess, share my secret with you guys, even though it's not really that much of a secret. It's just more of something that I have to do out of necessity because, as most of you are aware, I do not use any heat styling tools on my hair. So that includes things like hair dryers, that includes blow dryers with a diffuser or without a diffuser. I don't care. I don't use blow dryers at all. I also don't use straighteners or any other hot tool. Because of that, a couple of you have been asking me when it's winter time and like snowing outside or really windy and just cool in general, how do I go outside? Do I have my hair wet when I go out? Do I get up super duper early and wash it early in the morning and then just let it kind of air dry in my house before I leave? You know, what do I do? So really, it's not really that big of a secret, and the major change that occurs in my hair care routine during the winter time is just that I plop my hair. And I've mentioned this before in one of my videos ages ago, and it's really interesting because I don't see too many people talking about plopping, or plunking is what it's also referred to. But I don't see people mentioning it with as much frequency as I once did within the curly hair community. So I'm not sure if it's kind of been phased out and a different way of styling one's hair has taken its place. I don't know, but I am still clinging to it because I think it's a really effective way of drying your hair while still getting really nice, beautiful curls. So for this video, I am going to be not only explaining to you guys what plopping / plunking is, but I'm going to show you guys how to do it and explain why I like to do this in the winter time. So I'll kind of work my way backwards, and I'll start off by telling you why I add this into my routine right now during these winter months versus when it's going to start getting warmer again. And the first benefit, I guess, to plopping and why I like to do it is the fact that it really helps dry your hair faster. And I have super thick hair, and the drying time, it does vary depending on the day. So if it's really humid outside, I've noticed that my hair tends to hold on to moisture a lot more than if it's more dry outside. But on average, my hair takes anywhere between 3 to 4 hours to fully dry if I'm going outside and like it's kind of windy and the air is flowing through my hair. But if I stay like indoors, for example, it can take anywhere from 6 to 8 hours to fully dry. But you know, sometimes on a good day, if the air outside is really dry, really active, my hair can dry in as little as an hour and a half. So it definitely fluctuates a lot. But the really good thing about plopping is that you're putting your hair up in either a towel or some sort of like t-shirt. But I should take a second to caution you, if you're using a towel, make sure it's not one that has the little tiny fibers. I think the microfiber towels are the ones that most plunkers / ploppers prefer to use, because a normal ordinary towel is going to have those little loops in it, in the, I guess, threading or the way that it's created, and those tend to like pull at your hair and cause frizz. So I prefer to use a t-shirt, but by all means you can utilize whatever you have available to you. But basically, you're throwing your hair up in this t-shirt or in this cloth, and you're leaving it up there, and the water gets absorbed into the material and out of your hair. So I think that in and of itself kind of explains why it's a really good thing to do in the winter time, because I know with my schedule it's just easier since I don't use any type of heat styling method or drying method with heat. I can just get out of the shower, plop my hair, put my makeup on, get dressed, do whatever I need to do, and then I can take my hair down, and it's usually about anywhere from 60 to 80% dry, which is good enough for me because I'm in Arkansas right now and it's not nearly as cold as it was when I was in Kansas. So I haven't really run into any issues with that yet. So we'll see. Okay, so obviously there are a lot of really good things to plopping, that it's really easy, it helps dry your hair out faster, it gives you really beautiful curls, but I don't know, there are still some things that I dislike about it, hence why I don't really do it all year round. My big reasoning for liking plopping is solely for the fact that it helps my hair dry faster. Everything else that kind of comes with it is more negative for me than positive, but maybe you can give it a try and you'll find that it might have been the missing portion of your routine that gives you the beautiful curls that you've always wanted. So for me though, the cons to this, there are two really, really big ones for me. So the first major con that I kind of encounter each time I do this is that when you plop your hair, basically what's happening is that your hair is drying on top of your head. And when that happens, as you can probably imagine, it ends up giving your hair quite a bit of body and volume. And while that is obviously going to be a pro or a benefit for a lot of you guys to this technique, it is definitely negative for me because I do not want extra body to my hair. It's already very voluminous in and of itself, and I feel like because of its thickness, I don't really want to exaggerate that any, especially because I am very, very petite. So it looks really odd when I have super, super puffy hair, and I feel as though it's more of a distraction for me than it is something endearing. So I really don't like that about plopping. It gives you quite a bit of body. So that's one of the reasons that I also, with my plopping, tend to take it down a little bit before it's fully dry, because if I leave it to where it's like 95% dry, my hair is going to be massive, and it just, I don't know, I don't like it at all. The other major con is that plopping tends to impart more frizz to your hair, or at least it does to mine, and the reason for that is when it comes to styling my curls, the best way to go about it is to kind of get it styled and parted and positioned how you'd like it while it's still really wet. And with plopping, basically you're not really getting to do that. You're putting on all of your products, so you put on your leave-in conditioner, you put on your gel or your mousse or whatever else is in your repertoire of items, and then you are throwing your hair up in this little turban or towel or t-shirt. And once it's dry to your liking and you let it down, it's not really parted a specific way or styled a specific way. So for me anyway, I have to like shake my head and then hope that the curls just kind of fall in a nice line. But most of the time what ends up happening is I have to take my finger and part it, but because my curls are already partially dry, it ends up leaving my hair with a little bit of frizz, so I have to go back with a little bit of leave-in conditioner and sometimes gel and like rake it through specific parts, and it ends up leaving my hair looking a little bit odd. So I don't know, there are definitely perks to plopping, but as I just described, those are two major issues that I have with that. So that's why I tend to only do this in the wintertime, and it's not something that I'm a major, major fan of. But you know, like I said, there are really wonderful things to plopping, so I would encourage you to give it a try, see how it works with your hair. Some girls love it, some girls hate it. I'm more in the middle where I see its value and I see how it can be beneficial, but it's not something that I would ever do forever. Okay, so really fast, let me just kind of walk you through how you go about plopping. As I've already mentioned about 2 or 3 times, I prefer to use a t-shirt as opposed to using a microfiber towel or like a turban or something like that. But by all means, use whatever you have. Don't feel like because I'm using a t-shirt that this is what you absolutely must do. What you're going to start off by doing is you're going to take your t-shirt and you will lay it down on a flat surface, and that flat surface can be a toilet seat, it can be a chair, it can be your bed, heck, it can even be your floor. It really doesn't matter. But whatever you're going to be using, just as long as it's flat, you should be in okay shape. So you'll take your t-shirt and you're going to lay it on the flat surface with the area that your head comes out of facing your body. So after you orient it that way, you're going to lean your head over it and position your curls over the center of the t-shirt as it's lying on that flat surface. And very slowly you want to lower your head on top of your hair, and the hair should be piling up on top of itself. So that sounds kind of weird, but basically you're trying to accordion the hair and just smush it between the center of the t-shirt and the top of your head. So once you have your hair perfectly positioned how you want it, and basically it'll be sitting on top of your head when you flip everything upside down, you're going to take the two back corners. So the ends that you'll be grabbing will be the portion where your hips will usually touch when you are wearing the t-shirt. So you will grab those two corners and you will pull them over your head and have the end of that touch the nape of your neck. You'll still be holding on to those two corners, and you'll take the corners and wrap them around your forehead. So you'll bring them and kind of tuck them under, and by this point basically you should have kind of like a little bag or containment around your head with your hair all still inside it, and your head is still resting on the center of the t-shirt. So once you get those two corners wrapped around your forehead, what you want to do is figure out a way to fasten them there so that they don't open back up. So what I usually do is once I get it wrapped around my forehead, I kind of lean onto my forehead. So before you were kind of leaning on the top of your head with the hair piled between the t-shirt and your head. Now you want to move back a little bit and press your forehead against the hard surface so it holds those two corners together. Once you've done that, you will grab the portion of the t-shirt that is left, and it'll be kind of underneath your chest or your belly, and you will begin rolling that up all the way until it touches your forehead. Once you've got to that point, you will grab the sleeves and you will twist them a couple of times, and then you will wrap them around the back of your head. You can sit up, and at that point you can either tie the two twisted sleeves around the back of your head, or what I prefer to do is grab a ponytail holder and just fasten them like a ponytail. And that is essentially it. That's all you need to do to plop your hair. And it sounds more confusing than it actually is, but hopefully the demonstration was helpful for some of you. And as far as how long you would leave your hair up in the t-shirt, you can do it to whatever length is necessary for drying your hair or whatever you like. Basically, I think the minimum that you should leave your hair plopped is 15 minutes. Otherwise, it really doesn't have time to soak up all of the water that's in your hair. So definitely at least 15 minutes. And you can leave it in your hair for as long as you'd like, because I've even slept with my hair plopped before, just because I knew the next day I was going to have no time whatsoever to do my hair. So I showered, plopped, went to bed, and literally woke up and took it down, got dressed, washed my face, did all that stuff, and was out the door. So, you know, it just is totally up to you. There are no specific rules to this, so don't feel like you have to abide by a set criteria that some random person made up. Just do whatever works for you, for your schedule, and for your hair. So that is it from me, guys. As usual, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave them down for me below, and I should get back to you as soon as possible. I hope you guys are all doing awesome. Thank you so much for watching and for your continued support, and I will talk to you guys later.